What's up, everyone? It's Friday, October 30th, and that means it's time for another Smackdown review. Rey Mysterio confronts his good friend Batista. Chris Jericho faces Kane to find out the second contender for Undertaker's World Heavyweight Championship, and SmackDown feeling like the Z Show. The review starts now. You guys like that? You like that? No. Alright, and so tonight's SmackDown, now they were going through the whole night talking about how SmackDown's now the A show, and they proved that at bragging rights. Number one, they didn't prove it at bragging rights. They didn't prove it at bragging rights by having Big Show have to help your team. That's not proving it. Number two is that really tonight, Raw is obviously the most entertaining show, and everyone knows WWE puts the most effort behind Raw. So trying to convince people otherwise is not really working, and it doesn't help when you have shows like tonight's. Tonight's show really wasn't that. It just felt like another show. If you're gonna have bragging rights and you're gonna be proclaiming yourself as the A show, at least do something that is exciting. Have some great matches, some entertaining stuff. You didn't have that. The episode starts off with Tay Long coming to the ring and congratulating Team SmackDown for winning at bragging rights, and basically he says that tonight Batista and Rey Mysterio will have a heart-to-heart to settle their differences, and then Chris Jericho comes out to the ring, and Tay Long tells Chris Jericho that the trophy is SmackDown's, not Chris Jericho's, so he handed it over, and basically Jericho is wondering, what everyone is wondering, why give someone who's not even on the SmackDown roster a title shot versus Chris Jericho, who is on the SmackDown roster and overdue for a title shot. But so basically Kane comes out and says, if anyone, we were co-captains, and if either of us deserve a title shot, it's Kane. And Kane really does deserve a title shot, because how long has this guy been in the WWE, and really he's only won he won the WWE title once before. It's kind of like he's kind of overdue. So basically, Kane's about to chokeslam Chris Jericho, and then Tay Long says, hold on, tonight we're going to have Chris Jericho versus Kane, and the winner of that will go on to the title match Survivor Series to face Undertaker and Big Show for the World Heavyweight title, and that's tonight. Okay, so the first match tonight, Dolph Ziggler beats John Morrison via countout in a non-title matchup. What is up with all the countouts, people? WWE, come on. Man, like, come on. Either way, the match, Dolph Ziggler wins, John Morrison loses. Doesn't put John Morrison down because it was count out. But the match was 3.5. It wasn't one of their greatest matches. They've had some really good matches together, and it wasn't a bad match. It was just, it was decent. It was for an opening matchup, so 3.5 out of 5. So the next match of the night is Beth Phoenix, who faces a really skinny, frail, petite-looking woman, and basically, apparently, it was Beth Phoenix's someone who actually beat Beth Phoenix back when she was wrestling, doing amateur wrestling or whatever. So there's supposed to be a story behind it, whatever. Beth Phoenix wins. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 because even though it was a squash match, Beth Phoenix basically she had this kind of character, and it was no sweat to her, and it was kind of interesting to see that, and that's the way it should be, because Beth Phoenix is a beast. Okay, the next match of the night, Matt Hardy versus Eric Escobar with Vicky. Now Vicky came out to introduce Eric Escobar, and I couldn't help but think that even though she's still getting a lot of heat, it's kind of getting stale, because the reason Vicky got so much heat in the beginning is because she's annoying. She's still annoying, but also because basically she was actually doing things to piss people off, and now it just seems like she's just not doing anything to deserve the heat, so those heat's going to start to die down. So I think they need to put Vicky Guerrero in some more situations that would piss off the WWE universe, therefore getting some of her heat back. Either way, Matt Hardy gets a huge pop. You can't help but wonder why he's not higher up on the in the SmackDown roster food chain, because he really gets huge pops, and he deserves really a chance to shine. I mean, if you give him a shot, if you give Jeff a shot, you need to give Matt Hardy a shot. He deserves it. Anyway, he beats Eric Escobar. The match, 2.5 out of 5. let's move along. Batista and Rey Mysterio. Basically, Rey Mysterio comes out to the ring. Batista is and Rey Mysterio says he doesn't understand. They've been through so much together, and he just wants an explanation basically from Batista. Batista comes out, and Batista says he doesn't owe Rey Mysterio anything. Rey Mysterio stabbed him in the back. Rey Mysterio says it was a fatal 4-way match. What did you expect me to do? And then Batista basically says, I'm going to give you an opportunity to walk out the ring before I get mad. Rey Mysterio says no. He respects Batista too much to do so. And then Batista brings in Eddie Guerrero in it, which is kind of tasteless because I don't think that was a way to get heat from the crowd, but it just came off like he was just being an asshole. Why would you bring up somebody like, why would you bring up Eddie Guerrero into this? Batista ends up leaving, Rey Mysterio in the ring. Alright, what I can't figure out myself is whether or not Batista is better as a heel or a face. On the one hand, Batista is not that good of a wrestler, and so having him be heel might give us something to be interested in. He might be a little more interesting now. On the other hand, Batista has some pretty awesome power, which we might not get to see now because he's a heel. Well, I guess the heel wins out. He should be a heel because he's a god-awful wrestler. The next match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Finlay. The match never took place because Finlay was attacked by Drew McIntyre before he got in the ring, and that ends that. Crime Time hosts the 2009, so they're hopefully going to do this every year. Or hopefully not, who knows. 2009 Diva Costume Party. Natalia's in like a matador. Layla is Michael Jackson. Michelle McCool is a devil. And Mickey James is Elektra from the comic book Elektra. Alright, the winner, Mickey James, and they attack each other after the match, as always happens in these Divas confrontations or contests. Earlier in the night, Teddy Long basically was talking to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon was commending Teddy for the win. CM Punk comes in, and he's complaining about the referee at SmackDown, Scott Armstrong last SmackDown, for him not winning, and basically Vince McMahon makes the match Punk versus Scott Armstrong, so the match takes place. Scott Armstrong got a nice little punch in there. It was kind of cool to see a couple punches. I think there's 3 punches altogether in there, and but CM Punk obviously ends up winning with the GTS, and yeah, that ends that. Alright, the final match of the night, main event, Chris Jericho versus versus Kane. Find out second contender for Undertaker's title. Jericho wins with the Codebreaker. Kane hopped off the top rope, hit the Codebreaker, kind of sloppy, but nonetheless it was a pretty cool spot. All in all, the match was, at first it wasn't that good, and then kind of started to get a little better, but 3.5 nonetheless. Big Show and Undertaker are nowhere to be found throughout the whole night. It's kind of like, wow, are we not building up to a pay-per-view? Survivor Series, one of the big 4 pay-per-views of the year, and the World Heavyweight Champion and the other contenders not there? Come on, I mean, overall SmackDown was lackluster. The second bad show of the week. I don't watch ECW, but Raw was bad. SmackDown tonight wasn't that good for being proclaimed as the A show, and all in all, it just wasn't, left a bad taste in my mouth as to why SmackDown was kind of black. We didn't really have any matches that stood out. All of them just, went in line, basically. And that, I don't understand why that is, because SmackDown should be a good show. Wrestling should be number one, as I always say. Anyway, that's the review. The question of the week is, which main event for Survivor Series, which triple threat matchup for the title do you prefer? You prefer Raw's, which is Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena, or do you prefer SmackDown, which is Big Show, Undertaker, and Chris Jericho? I have a feeling that everyone's going to say the Raw main event, which is fair enough. That seems like that would be the better main event. Anyway, I'm going to start a new show Wednesday nights. I have a Monday night show for Raw, Friday for SmackDown, but Wednesdays I'm going to start a new show called This Week in Wrestling. I want you guys to send in any questions you have, and I'm going to answer it on that show, as well as I'm going to give you all the backstage news for the past week on that show. Peace out.